This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Whitmer here, and welcome in to another edition of the Onside Kick right here on MVP Sports or MVP Vids, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, wherever you're listening or watching to us or watching us. Thank you. I am joined with my co-host here of the Onside Kick, JD, the Don of MVP. JD, how we doing? How we doing on this Thursday evening?
We're doing great, dude. You know, week's almost done. Weekend, got football coming up.
JD hoping his team can finally get a win.
Yeah.
Who you guys play this week?
Kansas City.
Oh yeah, you guys might get a win. That's a big might.
Yeah.
That could be an L as quick. It's at Arrowhead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Burrowhead.
Okay. Well, yeah, Burrowhead. The last time we called it Burrowhead, though, the refs helped the Chiefs win. Remember that?
Yeah.
All right. There were some questionable calls down at the end. Plus, T Swizzle will be there, and you can't win when T Swizzle's in the building. How dare you win when T Swizzle's in the building?
Yeah.
How dare you think you can win?
Maybe she has some other political commitment.
Maybe there's commitments, but we're here for the Onside Kick to talk about all the biggest news and happenings going on in the NFL. Before we start, JD, I have a special announcement. Last week, I told you guys, it's going to be our first mock draft. Blame me. I was literally sitting there 2 days ago. We're going to record, and I'm like, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to, A, do the mock draft, which is the most important part. 2, I'm like, I didn't put the back, behind the scenes stuff that the patrons get. So we're punting. We're punting the mock draft a week. It'll be mock. See, I just wanted mock draft big board in the same week. That's just what I was going for with the draft room and the onside kick. So we will have our first mock draft. It will be next week. Therefore, today, we'll just be talking about normal sports news. What happened week 1 and stuff like that. You were going to say something. You opened your mouth.
No, I was just yawning.
Okay.
It's late.
It had that look like you went
No,
I want to say something, but then I stopped. Ricky didn't stop talking.
No, I was trying to conceal it.
You need a Red Bull. You need some energy.
Oh, brother. Yeah, I do.
You need some energy through them bones.
Been a long day.
But we got housekeeping as always. If you're not in the MVP Discord, join the MVP Discord. You can support us on Patreon, social medias. All of our links are down below in the description. You can also comment, subscribe, hit that like button, notification button, subscription if you want to continue hearing the podcast each and every week. But JD, first thing we're talking about today. This is a story from about a week ago now. We were supposed to record yesterday. Life happens. We had to punt today. We're here on Thursday. Last Friday is when this team played. That's why I say it's almost a week ago. The Green Bay Packers played in Brazil against the Philadelphia Eagles. Game was officially over. Hail Mary might have won it, but let's be honest, Packers weren't going to get it. And Jordan Love goes down with an injury. The fear is that he tore his ACL. He will be out for the season. Now, the day after, luckily, ACL was intact. It was just, I believe, an MCL sprain, so he didn't tear anything in the knee, but he will be out 4 to 6 weeks with this knee injury. And I'm just going to hit you with the Frank, JD. The question that we are asking today is, how will the Packers fare without Jordan Love? They got 4 to 6 weeks without him. Malik Willis, it's your time. You thought you'd be starting in Tennessee, but you're starting in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think they, unfortunately for the Packers, I really do think that this has the potential to completely derail their season.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, maybe Malik Willis will surprise us, but he's been in the league now for about 3. Yeah, this is year 3 for him.
This is his 3rd year.
And he hasn't gotten the opportunity to play much, and when he has played, he was very limited with throwing the ball. He was mainly just used as a runner.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe he can surprise us, but unfortunately, usually with MCLs, it's usually closer to that 6 week
Mm-hmm.
that the player will come back.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure they can maybe squeak out a win or two with that defense, and I don't know their schedule off the top of my head.
I got you. Don't worry. I
All
got
right.
you.
So let me finish this thought
Yep.
then, and
Yep.
then we
Yep.
can go
Yep.
over that. But yeah, but like with a like you could say this with any team. Without your starting quarterback, your season kind of goes down into the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate because the Packers, this was probably going to be their first year where, like, since they're like retool or rebuild, where
Their
they could
best shot to win the
actually
Super Bowl.
maybe not win, but at least
Make
compete
it.
for, yeah, at least make the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they can still make the playoffs. It's just hypothetically if they go like 1-5
Mm-hmm.
now, let's say. I mean, they're gonna have to hope that when Love comes back, that he's just dialed and they ring off. Like, I won't probably for the A or NFC North, you probably need about 11 wins at
Mm-hmm.
least to win the division, and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe in the NFC you could maybe squeak in with 10.
Yeah.
So you would pretty much need to win like 9 more games
Mm-hmm.
to have a
You've
chance
already
at,
lost to the Eagles, so
yeah.
that's one game you can't win. I'll say this: their next 6 games this week, they're at home against the Colts. Then week 3, they're on the road against Tennessee. Then week 4, at home against Minnesota. Week 5, at LA to play the Rams. Week 6, home against Arizona. And then week 7, home against Houston. Here's a good thing about their schedule. And this is the thing I was going to focus on first. The good thing about their schedule, there are 2, maybe 3 winnable games within this stretch. If you win 2 of these games, I think you're fine. And people are gonna say, Ricky, how could you be fine if you lose 3 of the if it's 6 games and you lose 4 of the next 2, you're already at 5 losses. Jordan Love's gonna have to come back and just be perfect almost the rest of the way. And after the injury, 2 against the Lions, 2 against the Bears. I know the Bears. Oh, Ricky, the Bears were overhyped. Da, da, da. It was week 1. By the time they play the Bears, it'll be week 11. Bears will have about 9 or 10 games underneath their big old bear claws. But here's the thing. Could you survive by just winning 2 of these games? Yes. To me, it's a bare minimum of you have to beat the Titans, you have to beat the Cardinals. Those are your winnable games. The Cardinals showed they're not that good. Kyler Murray, exactly what I was saying entering the season. What is Kyler not going to be able to do? Get Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball. He's not good enough. He can't get him the ball. Arizona, that should be a win, even with Malik Willis. Then you got Tennessee. That's going to be a whole new game. Because this game is all about setting Willis up for success. You've had a week to do it. Hey, we're going to cater the game plan to you. We're going to make it as easy as possible. With then 2 weeks under, you start to expand a little bit. I'm sorry, heading into next week, and I know I'm jumping ahead. Heading into next week, you know what I'm feeding Malik Willis a dose of?
What?
Hey, man, this is your time. This is your time to get revenge. They didn't want you. They didn't want you. They traded you to us for nothing. Show them where they were wrong. Show them that they were wrong and you are the right choice. Put Will Levis in his place. That's basically what I'd be preaching to him for that revenge game. Those are the 2 minimums. Besides that, let's be honest. Colts and Houston, probably both losses for sure. The Vikings, wouldn't have said this before the year, but now that might be If Darnold looked as solid as he did in week 1, that might be a loss. The Rams, I say, is questionable, but the Rams played well against the Lions. So it's like, to me, if I'm the Packers, I'm kind of thinking, and I'm thinking as like a fan front office, right? I'm not thinking coach or player. I'm thinking, okay, expect to lose Houston and Indy. Expect to win Tennessee, Arizona. Hope we can steal one against Minnesota or LA. That's how you got to look at it.
Yeah, and after you name that schedule, it made me feel a little bit better about their chances or their outlook, I guess, because I could see them beating the Cardinals just based off their defense. The Vikings, again, they're like you said, more the wait and see because is Darnold really going to play like this for the next few weeks, let's say?
But
Maybe.
without Love, I would give the edge slightly to Minnesota.
Sorry, did you say is that game at home?
Yeah. The only ones that are on the road are Tennessee and LA.
Okay.
So you have 4 of the next 6 are at home.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just looking at LA all wrong, but I'm still not completely sold about them. So like they kind of gave that game away to the Lions. I mean, sure you can give them credit for leading that game and winning for most of it, but they gave it away at the end. And then I would say they lose to Indy, they lose to Houston, and so if they could steal, like you said, 3 of the next 6, then I would say that that's a positive. But ideally, the magic number there I feel like is 4. If they can somehow win 4 of those games, then
I think you're asking for too much by asking for 4. I'll give Malik 2. I may, if he's perfect, give him 3. I don't know if Malik Willis can go out there and win this team 4 games.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna have to do with the defense, right? Like, but again, not to make this about me, but like last year we saw Jake Browning almost beat the Chiefs, and quite frankly, I feel like Malik Willis might have a higher
ceiling, floor.
Ceiling than Browning, because at least he's an elite athlete.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think about with this is you just can't lose all 6. You just can't. And I don't think the Packers are, but you have to say it because any given Sunday, anything is possible. Anything can happen. Any team can go out there and beat anybody. I mean, I'm sorry, JD. Look at what happened to the Bengals week 1. Yep. Nobody expected it, and look what happened. But like, I don't know. I just look at it and I go, 2 wins is all I'm giving you for sure. Now the question is, you brought up a good point. Once Love's done, let's say Love we'll work with the assumption that it's 6 weeks. Because honestly, if it's 4 weeks and he's coming back against Arizona, like, to me, the best case is 4 weeks. Not just because it's 4 weeks, but he comes back against Arizona, can ease him in against Arizona, and then boom, Houston, cool, I've had a game to go. If he's out 5 or 6 weeks, though, it's interesting because if he's out 5 weeks, his first game is Houston. If he's out the whole 6 weeks, his first game back is in Jacksonville, which I'm not the highest on Jacksonville, but they're not a bad team. And to be coming off that injury against Jacksonville, it's not the easiest. But then after that Jacksonville game, oh, by the way, here you go. Here's the Lions at home. So, like, he's going to have to be ready to go right out of that injury if he's out 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a tough part, too, because it's not like he's dealing with, like, I don't know, like a injury to his non-throwing hand. Like, it's a knee injury. And especially with a quarterback, I feel like part of you is going to be worried about getting hit in the legs. And it's I don't think he's gonna
bring up a good point.
I don't think it's realistic to expect him to come back like guns a-blazing. I think with an MCL, it's going to take him maybe a couple weeks to also get accumulated back with football.
I will say, though, no one expected him to be as good as he was last year. So he may have that dog in him. He may not. We're going to have to, like, I hate to say it, but we're going to have to wait and see. Like, this was a guy last year that no one expected to be as good as he was. Like, oh man, they when he got drafted, it's like, wait, what? They're drafted. Do they not know who they have? They have Aaron Rodgers. And so far it's looked to pan out with Jordan Love. So like, this may be like, hey, I know your career is young, but Jordan, this is the first adversity you're going to have to face in your young career.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing, right? Like, because I feel like if somebody were to say that to him, he would disagree with that because, again, he went to school at Utah State. I'm pretty sure. Well, or no.
Yeah, you're right. Utah State.
Yep. I was thinking.
You were thinking BYU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to school at Utah State, and I think he was somewhere else before that, like a JUCO school. Could be wrong about that part, but went to a small school at Utah. Or Utah State, and you know, you don't really see quarterbacks get drafted out of there. So he'll say that was adversity there to even become a first round pick. Then the whole sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for like 3 years, and then finally becoming the starter last year. I think he would say, "Oh well, there was adversity there. No one believed in me to actually be able to start." So he would probably just check this up to just add another type of adversity to the list.
So, by the way, he did not go anywhere before Utah State. He was fresh. He redshirted in 2016. Freshman year was 2017. Sophomore year was 2018. 2019 was his junior year.
Yeah, no, I tripped myself up because for some reason I also got him confused with Trey Lance because Trey Lance went to North Dakota State.
Yep.
So I was like, wait a minute, who went where?
Yeah. I just wanted to make it clear before someone in the comments goes, well, actually, one thing I am looking at, I know the Packers can't control this, but hey, us as fans, we can look at it. So each of the teams in the NFC North, here's who they have in the 6 games. Let's say we're just going to, so there's no arguments. We're just going to say 6 weeks. If it's less, whatever. But for the sake of this discussion, we're just going to use 6 weeks as the baseline. So you have the Vikings. They have Houston this week. Or I'm sorry, San Francisco this week. Houston next week. Both of those at home. Green Bay on the road. New York overseas. A bye week, and then Detroit. Not the easiest schedule for Minnesota. Niners will be hard. Texans will be hard. Jets will be fairly difficult. Now, the thing with the Jets that I'm giving a little like tick of like the Vikings could win, that's a revenge game for Sam Darnold. That is a big revenge game for Sam Darnold. And then after the bye week, Detroit. Detroit's no chopped liver. So what? You've got 3 of those 5 games? No, 4 of those 5 games are tough games. Minnesota is in a spot where they're going to have to be really good to win most of those games. You have Detroit. They're playing Tampa Bay this week. Arizona on the road next week. Seattle on Monday Night Football at home. Then a bye week. And then Dallas on the road, Minnesota on the road. Not the hardest. Like, honestly, I do have the Buccaneers upsetting the Lions this week just because I wasn't impressed week 1 with the Lions. But like, Arizona should be a win. Seattle and Detroit, you don't have to deal with the 12th man, but that one, I would give the edge to the Lions, but I could see if the Seahawks beat them. And then Dallas will be tough. Minnesota, I would give the advantage to the Lions in that one. So it's like, what, the Lions maybe 1 or 2 games they lose? Maybe 3 if it's like, whoa, everything went wrong.
Yeah. So,
just one last thing. Yeah. Chi-Town. at Houston this week, at Indy next week, home against the Rams, home against the Panthers, London game against Jacksonville. Their next 2 are tough, especially for a rookie quarterback. The Rams, we'll see how they are week 4. Panthers should be a win. Jacksonville's a toss-up. It's in London.
Yeah.
So the Packers might luck out from their other divisional foes having harder schedules than them. Would you not say that each of these 3 teams have maybe a harder schedule than the Packers?
Yeah, I would say that's probably either on par or more difficult.
Yep.
So again, I think if I'm the Packers here, obviously this isn't like some new idea, obviously, but if you're the Packers, you want to win this division. I think that's going to be your ticket to getting into the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, it's still possible to make the playoffs by getting like the second seed in the division, but I think, yeah, with seeing those schedules, I mean, even with a backup quarterback, there's still a chance that you're fighting for that number 1 seed in the division.
At the end of the day, end of the season, do the Packers survive the Jordan Love injury? Do they still make the playoffs? Not win the division. We won't go that far, but do they make the playoffs even after this injury?
I'll say yes.
I'm going to say yes as well.
My reasoning is just because it's still early enough in the season. So, I mean, you can't really... if he was out for like 10 weeks, okay, well then maybe it's a little bit different. But you could still salvage your season, and I think the NFC is weak enough to where the Packers could still squeak in, even if they don't win the division.
Yeah.
It's just... obviously you're playing with fire in that scenario.
Well, this is where you guys come in, Packer fans. I want to know what you guys hear down below in that comment section. Let us know. How worried are you about the Jordan Love injury even a week after? And how do you see your team faring in the next 4 to 6 games? Let us know in that comment section. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.